gold rush. Deborah, you want to talk about that from back there? No, it's a great idea to see who's interested.
And I thought we could do a fall festival here and rent spaces out for vendors. People would make things. Ellie, and then we will advertise it in the Nugget that these places are available. But we're going to need everybody to pitch in. We'll have to have crowd control and help with parking, and but we wouldn't let them sell just anything and everything. They'd have to let us know. Just assign the spot. They would pay $20 to $25, something like that, reasonable for their place to operate. The church would have I've got a pretty good size grill that takes like 3 or 4 people. Anyway, we would sell the hamburgers and hot dogs and sodas and let just our church, our food, and have a month, have old time cakewalk like they used to. And we would need to make a homemade cake, and then we would, I don't know if anybody ever remembers those days.
Oh, yeah.
But make it with a thing.
What proceeds, what percentage do they get for what they're selling versus
We would charge them 20 or $25
give us a
for the spot, and they would do whatever they make. You know, if we make $500 or $1,000 off them, that's going on that kitchen. And you can't see that kitchen when you feel the need to help somebody else. I can see relations, and we need your help before we get it to do.
Right. So, if you're interested in that, make sure that you jump in with Deborah, and then we'll figure it out from there. So, I appreciate you willing to put yourselves out and work hard in that direction. Good job. I want it. Neighbors are restless today. Love it. Good job. I'd much rather have that than silence up there. No kidding. That's all right. I'd much rather have kids than not have kids. Long, long ago, in Brontosaurus was real dear. I was a children's minister in a large downtown church in Fort Worth, Texas. And we had probably 225 to 250 little guys a week. And that was during breakdancing time. And we had terrazzo floors on our basement. Man, they could spin on their head, and it's like, how do you do this? It's just great. So, believe me, I can put up with kids. It's great. Little lessons. I thought I'd just throw in, it's about an odd lesson as you can possibly get. One that you hardly even know is in the scripture. Where you have Proverbs 30, that's a little thing with me. You say Proverbs, plural, because there's more than one proverb in a chapter of Proverbs. However, in Psalms, it is one psalm, like Psalm 119. It's not Psalms 119. It is one psalm, Psalm 119, but it's a big, long one. 119 is huge because it's an acrostic. It has literally 8 lines for each of the letters of the Hebrew alphabet. But it's huge, but it's one psalm. So it is Psalm 23, but it's Proverbs, plural, chapter 30. In the midst of all the Proverbs, almost all of them were written by Solomon, King Solomon, wisest guy up to Jesus' time. But Jesus certainly smarter than him. But the idea is that this was a really wise guy all the way around. He's so wise that he knows he doesn't know it all. Chapter 30 is not Solomon. It is a guy by the name of Agur. And Agur, or Agur, depending on where you grew up in the United States, is a sage that was contemporary with Solomon, and he thought he was so good and had so cute musings, he just kind of clipped them together. So it's like Post-it notes as all of his different stuff. If you read through it, you can see here's 3 things of this, 3 things of that, and he's going to have 4 things that we're going to look at today real quick. But it is just plain old little lessons. So it is part of Proverbs, but not of Solomon. And Solomon kind of reproduces them or plagiarizes them or publishes them. before Agar. And so, like we're going to drop into Proverbs chapter 30, we're going to look first a little bit, and then we're going to look at our actual focus passage. The words of Agar, you're going to find in chapter 30 of Proverbs, is the words of Agar, the son of Jacob. Okay, his utterances. In other words, here's his sayings. Just so that you know there's someone else smart in the world besides me, he throws it in. So this is how smart he is. I love it. He starts out by saying, I am more stupid than any man. I love it. That's a great way to start if you're a smart guy. You know, I'm a dummy. Here we go. And I do not have the understanding of a man. What he's really saying is, I'm not going to give you a bunch of high and lofty talk. This is not a TED talk, he's trying to say. This is just plain old, this is what I see out there, and this is what I'm kind of telling you so that you notice what is really common. It says, I neither learned wisdom nor have the knowledge of the Holy One. Now that's going to become real important because he's going to be a righteous kind of guy. It says, verse number 4, who has ascended up into heaven or descended? Who has gathered the wind in his fist? Who has bound the waters in a garment? Who has established all the ends of the earth? What is his name and what is his son's name? It is kind of funny that he puts that in because you got to realize this is written over 900 years before Jesus. Almost a millennium before Jesus. He's writing, who's his son's name? This is an astute guy all the way around. This is a pre-Christ look at what wisdom is before Christ. These guys are literally 1,000 years out from Jesus coming to earth, but he's already got that precursor idea that who's his son? Okay? If you know, tell me. Okay? It says literally, for the word of the Lord is pure. Now I love that in Hebrew because it's not pure like just pure. It is tried and found pure. That's what it is in Hebrew. It is the old-fashioned where you had the old guy, the old merchant standing out there wanting to know if that's real silver or if it's real nickel, and he'd take the coin and put it in his mouth and pull it down because he knew if it was a cheap metal, if it was a counterfeit, it would bend. No, that's no good. That's tried and true. This is, I broke a tooth, but it's pure stuff all the way around. It says, every word of God is pure. He is a shield to those who put their trust in Him. That's advanced theology for 1,000 years prior to Christ, all the way around. Whose shield is those who put their trust in Him. Do not add to His words, lest He rebuke you, and you'll be found a liar. Okay? I love it. Who knows if Mark was saying some numerologist that has a date that the world's going to end this month, by the way. He put it on this month. And I said, well, on Scripture, it's not that day. No one knows the day, no one knows the hour. It says, so I don't think we're going to do it on that day. I had a theologian say, now if you're going to start setting dates, he says set dates way out beyond your lifetime. Then during your lifetime you can't be proven wrong. And you can live your whole life out going, it's coming, it's coming. So make sure you stay out there. Don't do dates. That's the whole idea. You ready to go? Here's the smart words from Abraham. You're going to love it. Here we go. There are 4 things that are little on the earth. Now, he's talked about all kinds of things up until verse 24. He talks about people. He talks about situations. Just what he sees out there. He says, here's 4 little things. They're not big at all, but they have extremely wise wisdom to fall down in your laps. He says, get it. This is smart stuff, but you'll miss it because they're so little and so common that you can't just go, woo, wow. It's like you have to sit there and contemplate a little bit. He's going to show you how smart he is by seeing the stuff that we just plain miss all the time. Number 1, ready? Ants are not people that are not strong, okay? In other words, they're not strong as far as a little ant's not going to pick you up and take you back to the colony. Okay? Now, if you want to get in proportionate size, they're very strong. They can lift stuff that, if we were a human, ant, we could lift, huge boulders, that kind of thing. But as far as you squish an ant if you want to squish an ant, if he doesn't bite you first. It's like our ants are not near as nice as those ants I grew up with, which were just a nuisance. Now they're mean and ugly. And don't tell you till they get their whole colony on your leg, go shh, get them all, they'll bite. That's just the way it works, okay? These are a little more sweet, nice ants, not those big pincer ants, okay? Now, it says they prepare their food in the summer. An ant knows what time it is. An ant can tell you, not just look to the ant, old sluggard. That's what I always thought, with all this wisdom writings and stuff, which makes you feel real, guilty all the time. I'm not busy as an ant. I should be working like an ant. Okay? The idea is, no, he knows what time it is. For if you watch the ants, they communicate with each other with those little antennas and stuff, and boy, in just milliseconds, they can know, somebody dropped their ice cream cone. Let's see, alarm goes off, and they're all over there at one time, gathered around it. In fact, you probably wouldn't want to invite them to your Pringle party. They're going to come. I love a Pringle anyway. It's like, what is this thing? It's a banana chip. Really? That's the mystery. I didn't think this resembled a potato at all, but it does. There we go. But literally, they communicate with one another, but they know what time it is. An ant will use its instinct and past history to affect its present and what it does in the present so that it ensures their future. An ant knows where he is at any given time on the time continuum, but he uses all areas of it. He literally will gather up seeds when it is harvest time. He's got a bunch of them flying around out there, but he knows I need to not just eat these things now, I need to put a few back here so that in times future there is coming a time that gets really cold and really bleak and really hungry, and these things would taste really good back then. And so the idea is my past affects my present, which will affect my future. An ant knows what time it is. The same way for a Christian is we look at it and go, okay, our past. Well, our instinct feels down deep. There's something more to life than just today. There just is. There's something different about this. I'm different than, say, an animal. I can feel that there's something deep down inside of me that will go further than this earth suit that I wear. There's something that doesn't age deep down inside of me. I feel young deep down, but the outside is crumbling, but the inside, I still feel like I'm vital and I can do stuff and all that. The idea is our past of where we've looked at our life and said, Lord God, I can't get to heaven on my steam. I can't. I'm not perfect. I accept you as my Savior. My past now affects my present. Is that I want to know you, Lord, and you always. I want to know you deeper than I have in times past. I want to read your word, get closer to you, so that we are friends, not so that I'm looking at you, oh God, to say, oh God, help. We're friends. Help with this. Thereby it affects my future. Home in heaven when I die, life with meaning in the here and now, and in the future rewards for what you do. You'll be rewarded for faithful service for Him. Someday you'll receive literally crowns, gold crowns, and literally jewels in crowns for what you do on earth. Now we instantly take them off and lay them at the feet of Jesus because He's the only reason any of us will get there, especially this one. Okay? The idea is, but in the process, you do good stuff for the kingdom's sake. So it affects your future. Now the problem is, a lot of us center in on one of those time continuums and we live our lives there. You all know people who live in times past. There's glory days in times past. We were just talking Friday night football, talking about that kind of stuff. There's still guys that go out to football games and they're living it again. They live in the glory days back there. or they look in times past on something that has affected their life now. Bad relationship, bad work situation, bad something in times past, and said, you know, if only I'd handled that differently. But they live their entire lives looking in the rearview mirror. Some folks look only for today. Those are the folks who usually die with a needle mark in their arm. They look for whatever high they can get this moment, whether it is drugs, drink, whether it is materialism and all the stuff they can collect just today. They just live for today. And you go, dude, you know, you just can't live this way. You know, someday you're going to need something. No, I'm living for today. Then there are other folks who just live for the future. Oh, it's bound to be better. You know, it's Annie. Tomorrow. Tomorrow, just a day away. You know, tomorrow. Okay? Somewhere over the rainbow in the Wizard of Oz. You know, someday it's going to be wonderful. Not today, of course, but someday. And they live just floating through today, looking straight past it into some future that probably will never come. Not the way they're looking for it. The ant? No. Ants? Times past. I was really hungry last year because I didn't put enough seeds up. Today, I'm gathering seeds so that when the bleak winter comes, I'm going to have some seeds to eat. Learn from the ant. He knows what time it is. So there's also the rock badger, okay? A coney, if you use New King or King James, it's a coney, which is really a rock badger. No security. They'll look back and say, okay, I know about time and that kind of thing. The rock badger, little nothing rock badger. He's a little nothing feeble thing. He's a feeble folk. I love that. I haven't heard that since college. I went to a predominantly black college, and I love that because our professors used folk a lot. They were Georgetown and Harvard grads and all that, and used folk because I think they were in West Virginia and they thought they should or something. I used to just think it was so cute as a native. Folk. I love that. Rock badgers are feeble folk, yet they make their homes in the crags. Okay? Small little fissures in rock. Now, if you were a coney or if you were a rock badger, literally your favorite hymn would be, you know, Rock of Ages, cleft for me. That's exactly it. Okay? Because that's where they live. I love that. Talk about all of them look alike. I looked down the bunch at 6 of them, and they all look alike. It's like, how do you tell the difference between each other? No, that's all. I'm sorry. That's Chuck. I'm sorry. There they are. But they live, that's where they spend their entire lives. Because they are like our woodland rabbits. The highland area, the rock badger is the food source for everything. Everything eats a rock badger. It's just like, you know, rabbits just decided we'll make more. You know, it's literally, you know, everything eats them. Hawks, owls, eagles, the big cats of one kind or another. You know, anything will eat a rock badger. They just, if they can get them. That's the problem. Because the rock badgers know their only security, they cannot fend off anybody. You know, they look like little babies. Okay? The idea is the only way that they're going to survive is stay by that rock, and whenever they see like a shadow go over top of them, they're in the rocks as fast as they can go. You can't get a paw down here and grab us. You can't fly down here and get us. We're stuck in the rock. They know where their security lies, and they don't venture away from those rocks. They get their food sources and stuff close to those rocks, and if they get away from the rocks, they're totally vulnerable. The same way that we are. Christians have to realize the adversary wants you. Now, he can't have your soul because you give it to the Lord, but he can nullify you and neutralize you so that you are of no benefit to God on this earth. Literally. You can't reach someone else. He wants you to absolutely be so neutralized you can't do him any harm. And the only thing a Christian can do, because we're vulnerable people, we're a rock badger. And the only way we can protect ourselves is run to the rock and hide in between the rock. That's the point. He knows where his strength is. His strength and security is in that rock. So thereby, he puts all of that in there. The ant knows what time it is. Rock badger, he knows where his security is. Stay near that rock all the way around. Ready? He said, I've noticed another little thing out there. It's a locust. Locusts know strength. Now, locusts have no king, at least not that we can tell anyway, you know, unless you talk grasshopper talk back and forth. Okay? Yet they all advance in rank. Now, if you have one grasshopper or a locust sitting out there, he can be handled. In fact, make great bass bait. You're going to catch a big bass, you're going to use one of these guys. They're huge. But the idea is, one of those, I could squish him if I had to. Get my whipple ball bat out and place a triple off his forehead or something. Boom, you know, that kind of thing. The idea is, you can kill one of those. You can't kill that. When they decide to come in a swarm, a plague of locusts, that's their strength. They have no king, but they advance with unity and purpose. And literally, I love it, the Library of Congress has it. That is a beautiful treat. The day before, they knew it was coming. The day before the swarm got there, that's the day after. Literally one day. That to that in one day. The locusts have no king, but they advance in unity. That is their strength. It is not one of them, it's a gazillion of them, and they're all coming together. Agar tells us that is literally wisdom, to go together. The idea is Christians need to go together. It is better together. It is better in community. You can be a better Christian amongst other Christians. That's just the way it is. We function better. I remember going to Moody Bible Institute to the Pastors Conference for a number of years when I was in South Florida. And they'd take they'd charter a plane, literally a regular plane, to take all the pastors of South Florida up to Chicago in the middle of spring. It was nice, but it's still cold. South Florida, it's cold to go up there. But they told us, I know you're going to want to see, but it's on North LaSalle, it's downtown Chicago. Now you want to go see Chicago and see the Hancock Tower or the Sears Tower, now it's some other name tower, big tall buildings and all that kind of stuff. I know you're going to want to see that, but do not go out on the street by yourself. You just glow that you don't belong here. You're the only one in the whole area that has a tan. We're all out in the sun all the time, so you show up big. So they said, don't go out. Go out, their saying was, two are mighty. Anything more than two are mightier still. Said, people won't attack two people or four or six or eight, but they will attack one without any problem whatsoever here in Chicago. Welcome to the big city. The same way, Christians need to understand it is better together. Oh no, I can just stay home. I can watch my favorite preacher on the internet. I can, participate with whatever I want, parachurch, and give my tithe or whatever else. No, it is better together because you need family. You need other Christians to bounce ideas off of, to work through life together, because some of those folks have gone through what you're going through right now, not knowing whether you can get through it or not, and they can tell you, yes, you can. I have a walk through with you. You cannot succumb to that sin every time. I beat that sin. Okay? I love the sweatshirt. I started to buy it, and Barb wouldn't let me because she said it was insensitive. It said, I beat anorexia. That's just insensitive. But I did. The idea is, what I want you to get is that literally the locusts have no king, but they know their strength. It's together. lastly, and all God's people said, yeah, thank you. There we go. The spider or lizard, the reason this is because the Hebrew name is exactly the same. It literally means little varmint. That's what it really means. Okay, it's the Hebrew word for little inside varmint. That's exactly what it means. And it goes for either one of these. It's a spider or a lizard. It's the same thing. Knows how to thrive as a resident alien. Okay? William Willimon, the longtime chapel chair of North Carolina University, Ludwig Williams' writings and stuff, wrote a book, 2 of them, about being a resident alien upon this earth as Christians. It says a spider has skillfully grasped with his hands, but he also is in the king's palaces. He's talking really about a house spider, not vicious, venomous type spider. It means no harm to anybody. He's just a spider. He's just out there kind of walking around. But he lives in really nice places. An old, big, beautiful palace. And I love this because I felt better about myself. You ready? Up in the corner of this palace, that's what it looks like. What I liked about this is you can see that guy paints as badly as I do. It's like, that corner work, I recognize that. That's the way I paint. It's like, big, beautiful place, and it's still not installed nicely. But the idea is, even in that gorgeous, beautiful, lovely place, up in the corner up there, there's a little spider just working. Okay? Not meaning anybody any harm, just doing his thing, staying alive. Same way, the house gecko, that's really what he's talking about, is that if you've ever lived in an area that has these guys, they don't mean any harm whatsoever. In fact, the kids played with them. Bart had an awful time as an elementary teacher because they'd have pet ones of these. They would literally come, and what no one realizes, if you take them real quick and flip them, their brains are not the same size as their cranium, and they literally black out because their brain squishes up into the top, so you flip them and they black out. They would bring them in, flip them over, put them on their desk and do their work and stuff, and then when they were ready to go out to recess, they'd flip them over and they'd come back to life and they'd go right back out again. It was great stuff. Didn't think you'd learn anything at church today, did you? They grasp with their hands. That's what their little hands look like. Got suctions and claws at the same time. They can grip onto anything, including you. I've had them. Grab on your nose. Stick. And it's really cute. They'll just stick on you anyway. They don't mean any harm whatsoever. And they're pretty translucent. It's really cute to watch them eat something because you can see it literally go down. Hope just loves these. She'd turn the light on and watch them digest stuff. It was really great all the way around. But literally, they stick on there. They don't mean any harm. But they know what it means to be a resident alien. That means nobody really wants me here, but I'm here. And I'm thriving up in the corner of nowhere. No one notices me or anything else. I don't make a big issue of it, but I get what I'm called to do done in the midst of it. What a great look for a Christian. A Christian, most of the time, will not change a complete corporation and their understanding or their air or anything else. But they can change those folks around them, and they certainly can change themselves and say, I will be ethical, even if I'm in a group of folks that are not ethical people. I will live a Christian life in amongst a bunch of cesspool of people who don't care a bit about Christianity or morals or anything else. I can certainly live that way and influence the ones that I can while I can. That is why I think one day you stand before the Lord and He says, I'm looking at what you did, period. And well done, good and faithful servant, because you have done all you could where you were. That's what it is. You're resident aliens. At the same time you're here, your citizenship's already in heaven if you've accepted Christ as Savior. But even though your citizenship's there, you're still here and now. And you have to live and thrive with not being really a citizen of where you are. You don't really belong in that situation because you've already given your heart to someone that is way down in eternity. But right now, you have to live and thrive and do the best job you possibly can. Agur said, there are 4 big lessons right in front of you. That little ant He knows what time it is. He knows he lives by the past, which affects his present, which will affect his future. He knows that little rock badger, little dinky cute thing that he is, the only way he's going to protect himself is being near that rock. He knows where his security lies. Grasshopper? He's pretty formidable by himself. He can eat pretty much a big leaf or something by himself. But get a million of his buddies together, they'll tear you up. They go as a unit. It's better together. And lastly, that little lizard or that little spider doing its thing up in a corner somewhere away from everything else, doing its thing, thriving, where really no one's noticing or really where it belongs or anything else. It's doing its job where he can, while he can, as a resident alien. 4 little lessons that can teach us a lot. People of wisdom bend down, crouch down, and look at little things every once in a while, because those little lessons can make a big difference in life. Let's stand as we pray. Lord God, we ask you this day that you would come and help teach us all 4 little dinky animals, that we would